Looking at an anterior view at the eye, we can use some structures to help us identify where the eye muscles will be located. If you notice, the eye muscles can be broken up into two groups, the rectus muscles and the oblique muscles. The rectus muscles are named after directional terms and move anterior to posterior. We can just barely make out the red of the superior rectus on the superior surface of the eye. And then we have the obliques. So remember your terminology. Oblique means coming in at an angle. So these are going to be at angles compared to the straight front and back of the rectus muscles. The first thing we can find to help us identify the location is the bridge of the nose. So if we find the bridge of the nose, we know that is medial. So that is where the medial side of the eye would be. The opposite would be the lateral. We can see the model there sitting, so we know inferior and superior. We can see portions of the obliques on the inferior and superior surface, and they will be moving left to right. So if you see where the X is, those would be where the oblique muscles insert onto the sclera of the eye. If we move to a superior view, we can see the rectus muscles in a little bit more detail about how they move from anterior to posterior. So the anterior portion of the eye should be apparent. It is open to the world, where the interior bone and the nerve is posterior. So we are able to see the superior rectus, the lateral rectus, and underneath on the bottom, the inferior rectus. If we were to take everything out, we'd be able to see the medial rectus on the interior surface. So again, looking at the eye from this angle, we can see a little bit of where the rectus muscles insert on the eye in the sclera, but we cannot see their entire length in this view. Let's take a look at the eye muscles using the software again from the anatomage table. So I'm going to try to slide through the eye so we can see the different muscles and highlight them as best as I can. You can already see the rectus from front to back. I've highlighted the medial. You can see it attaches to the eye in the anterior region. And here I am trying to highlight the superior rectus. And then you can sort of see the superior oblique. The lateral rectus is now highlighted, trying to show you a view of where you can see that. So these are tiny muscles that move the eye. So I do have a little bit of difficulty pointing to them, but once I highlight them, it's usually a little easier to see them. So there, the inferior rectus is highlighted, and as I add it back, you'll be able to see how that muscle goes from the eye, anterior to posteriorly. You can see the obliques, very apparent that it goes from the eye to the maxilla. And the superior oblique, we see a good view on this as well. We can see the pulley that pulls it up into the corner of the medial eye orbit. And we can follow the muscle the whole way back to the sphenoid bone where the origin is. And it takes me a second or two to click on the sphenoid bone, but once I do, we're able to sort of see where that is located and how the muscles of the eye, at least the superior oblique, originates there to help move the eye.